Call a meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Burke.
Here.
Councilman Gaspar.
Here.
And Councilman Indovina. I'm just earning my money today.
Here.
Okay.
All right. Kelly's not with us, so Mickey will be taking the minutes. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? We don't have Andrews here. But I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, commissioners, want any changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay, well, hearing nothing, we'll move on to regular business.
All right. Item A, discussion, proposed road connection between Highway H and Highway 37. City engineer will lead that discussion.
Over the last probably 80 years, Gail Huffmaster's dad has discussed the possibilities of a connector road from Route H, 37 Highway. More recently, in the late 90s, the council considered this option to go across and connect the two. Currently, we're looking at an option to do the same thing, a little bit different configuration, because we, as shown on the map on the screen, we have an existing power line that goes across the north side of the North Park and goes from 37 to H. We have a sewer line that was put in the late 90s, and we have a water line that goes in that vicinity. So the map represents kind of the draft layout of a proposed connector road from 37 over to H Highway. We've got some other accesses that come into the South Park or North Park to give us access down there by the ball fields. Currently, as you all know, there's one entrance in and out of the North Park, which during a heavily attended tournament, it fills up the parking lot. So this option was looked at to go across 3 property owners and interconnecting with 37 on the west side, which also has another little interconnect into the parking lot there on the north field. And also in part of this too, we're looking at getting a permit for an entrance into the North Park, which will widen it to 3 lanes so we can have better access. We've struggled with that for years. So this is kind of a draft layout that we're looking at. As I mentioned, there's 3 property owners involved. We have had preliminary discussions with all 3 of them. And so we're just looking at the options of going forward with needing the surveys and looking at some preliminary engineering to see what the viability is and how this would lay out. Most of this area along this road is in the floodplain, floodways. So part of the engineering required would be do some hydraulic analysis through these stretches, so we don't, so we manage our stormwater and floodways appropriately. So that's kind of an overall view of what we're looking at.
Okay, there are both. 37 and H are both MoDOT.
Yes.
Roads. Have we versus with discussed this?
Yes, I sent this preliminary layout to MoDOT probably about a month or so ago, and we've got some preliminary comments back, but MoDOT needs more information. So in order to how we connect with 37, original proposal, which shows this is using the existing Street 1075 as connecting this road, using it, and then taking the new road and tying into 1075 there on the north. Showed a different option that comes right in off the curve, which we have good sight distances on both sides. Looking north or south at that intersection, it would require some redesigning or designing to get 1075 to come into this road. So this is kind of a draft how we could lay this thing out and it work. It's not going to be straight, as you can see, because we have our ball fields and everything. And we'd have to cross the ditch on the east side of the ball fields and then On the west, as you go west, you would stay on the north side of that ditch. We've already done some improvements to the ditch to help it flow through there so it doesn't back up water in the ball fields. As you know, there's a box culvert that's under 37 that all that water goes through. So this will give it, from a traffic, we've been trying to get truck traffic off of Cleveland, and this would help push that truck traffic primarily from H over to 37 and keep them on a state route. So get them
So
off
it's
our
going to be
city
designed
streets.
for trucks,
Yes,
for the weight of the trucks.
yes, 80,000 pounds, yeah.
So how would traffic be controlled as far as turns? Are we looking at just basic stop signs?
No, there'd be a stop sign on this connector road on both ends. And then at each intersection at 37, it would be wide enough for right ins, left outs, and right outs. So it'd be set up for basically 36 to 38 foot wide at the intersections on both ends.
On H also?
On H also, with big radiuses, usually 50 foot radiuses, so we can get the turning movements in there to allow that movement of traffic. And right now, the preliminary review is just open ditches on both sides, no curb and gutters. So we drain this thing down to the ditch. On both sides of the road, we stay away from our water line, which is the southernmost utility that we have on the east end. So those intersections we set up so we can get the turning movements in and out of there. There's still a lot of information that Monett's going to want to see, but they're very receptive to the notion of an interconnecting road because this has been talked about for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. Because the speed limit on H Highway at that intersection that's at 45 at that point,
45,
right?
yeah. So
I just wonder, and I guess worry about, because there's a fair amount of truck traffic on H already.
Yes.
And then if we have trucks that are now turning onto H.
That traffic reduction, MoDOT may require a traffic study to be done at both intersections. They haven't indicated that yet.
Okay.
But I would suspect they're going to want to have that too.
Sure.
But they're open to the idea. We just bring up a lot of questions. So in order to answer those questions, in order to do so, we would go to the preliminary engineering stage, which is developing a plan.
Yeah.
Survey is the first thing you need to get this started. Boundary information. There's been some boundary. We know where our city property is, but we still need to know where the rest of the property lines on there and how it fits in. Over on the Clark Center side, the west side, we're trying to dodge through some existing transmission poles that we've got in there.
Yeah. And
we've got, water lines in that little area too. That used to be an old nursery when we used to grow some trees to replant around the city. So, it's an open space in that right now. So we have the room to kind of dodge things as we can to get in there to make sure that make sure everything will flow through there. We use an urban design standards for traffic design, so there'll be sharper curves, but still maneuverable for truck traffic. So
yeah, it would be interesting to see what the what the study will show us, because obviously it can't show us what we would anticipate for traffic on this road. Right. Traffic going from 37 to H. Because I just wonder about that, negotiating that intersection there at 37, and if a long-term better solution would be to try to come out more straight, but that looks like it would go right through the Clark's property.
Yes.
Parking lot and that infrastructure you talked about.
So there's a lot of moving parts at this point, but this is kind of the conceptual idea of.
Well, I see Fire Station 3 up there.
Yes.
As proposed. Yes. And if we put one up there, then we're going to need that road for emergency services, because over there on the lower right-hand corner, that's where the North Point housing project. It'll not it'll be a while before they get to the west end of this. What about that jog on the road on 37, or I'm sorry, on H Highway?
On H Highway, the other drawing, Mike, and I was having troubles printing this, so when I looked up what I sent, it doesn't print very well, so what I did is I printed off a drawing that
Oh, I
shows,
see.
shows how that actually, that one looks fine, but printing it doesn't like. You got,
I can get, I got one, everybody else wants it.
but, so this version kind of shows the conceptual idea of how to get that intersection to realign based on the proposed improvements that's going to occur on east side of H. That intersection has been a mess forever. There's a box culvert in there, really poor turning radiuses. As Jake discussed in his comments about what they're proposing to do on 2230, he's looking at closing in the ditch with culverts. So when we get down to H Highway, I think a realignment is appropriate. You see the sharp jogs in there. Well, I ran out of paper. So it's more smooth, tapered, so that, you know, that it will facilitate truck traffic to getting in and out of there. We move it south of the box culvert that's underneath H Highway, so we probably will have to extend that box culvert to the east, but we basically close off the old portion that's coming up the highway where it's a poor intersection right now. And so looking at making them straight across, which MoDOT likes that, everybody likes from a traffic standpoint. But that intersection would be set up for bigger radiuses, 3 lanes in both directions, so you could accommodate the left turns, the rights, everything to come in and out of there. And then we doesn't show it on this map, but there's down at Chapel Drive in 1090. You know, we've been working with the road district off and on for several years, and they've offered to do a cost share with that intersection to improve the radiuses down there, so we could make this 2230 a better road that's more suitable for as a city street in the long term.
So the city limits extend along 2230 all the way over to 10.
We have half of it, center line.
Center line. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the boundary.
Yeah.
Okay.
North side's Monett Special, south side's city. 'Cause that was annexed into the city when Jim Lemon brought the property in back in early 2000s.
Just out of curiosity, is that typical center line?
Section lines, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Everything's based on a property description, and all the old stuff is section, township, and ranges.
Sure.
But you can annex, or in this case, Lawrence County would have to, convey it to the city or Monett Special, since it's their road district.
Do you anticipate any problems with easement on the east side of Highway H?
No, Jake, we've talked about that. If you look at the floodplain maps that we have based on the January 24 versions, the maps have changed significantly since the older versions were out. So it kind of inundates a lot of that whole corner. So it makes it more restrictive for him to build any type of development in that corner. So it's kind of like the same deal when we talked about the fire station location at the church. That's got some hydraulic issues based on the firm maps that we have to deal with, which is part of that, one of the items to do a hydraulic study to assess its viability of putting a station at that location. That's kind of the short version. What's going on. I've been looking at the proposed cost to do these things, and I've kind of developed a spreadsheet. So I've kind of split this into 3 parts, A, B, and C, which kind of shows some anticipated proposals.
I think it's the next slide.
For Part A is a connector road, Part B is a fire station, Part C is the east of Route H. These are preliminary numbers based on what I anticipate that some of the cost would be to get if we move forward with this proposed improvement. Land acquisition is the top one. We would need to be doing some appraisals on a couple of properties in order to determine its valuation. before we make any type of negotiations with the property owners. And then part A, like I said, is the connector road, just looking at some costs associated with that. And these are all preliminary numbers at this point, which a formal recommendation will be given at the November 13th council meeting. So there's some blanks I still need to have filled in to get to those numbers. The main thing is the surveying. That's one of the first things you do for any project, determine boundaries and topographic surveys, which OWN is the surveyors that's been doing for the church and Jake's property, so they're all familiar and they've done work for us for well number 22 and our park. So that same survey group, which my confidence level is very high with what they do. That's the first thing that we need to do, plus getting down to the engineering side of it for preliminary plans, so we can, don't have any idea when the, if council approves, we don't have a schedule for construction, all subject to budgetary limitations.
That's kind of my next question. We're looking at in the next budget or the one after that?
Hopefully the next budget, but if not, then certainly the next one after that.
Okay.
It's kind of getting this all ready so that you can get plans on the shelf. So when the time comes and pull the trigger and say you want to go, then it's ready to go. All subject to
because
council.
these costs, all you have listed here are survey services, right?
Surveys and engineering, yes.
Nothing to do with
Construction.
construction
That's correct.
at all.
Now, next level, we'll have some, at the council meeting in November, we'll be able to give you some preliminary construction cost dollars so that you can see those too. So you have an idea of what that.
So what you're asking the council is in November, we approve the cost, whatever the final cost, to move ahead with both the engineering and the survey. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
And then there's hydraulics for part B, which is a fire station. We're looking at doing a topo, and then the topographic survey. The survey is part of it, so that we have enough. You have to generate enough survey information in order to do a hydraulic study, determine how it affects the floodplain maps. What we have, I don't necessarily agree with the floodplain maps, but that's what we deal with. The older version looks more accurate than the newer version, but that's what we have to deal with. Best available information is what they call it. And that's in order to know that it's a viable site for a fire station. We need to. My concern is the hydraulic side of it from the firm map, so we don't change anything that's out of line of what our requirements are for stormwater management.
So it's just south of $300,000 total cost for surveying. That's the highest.
Well, 27.7, 7,000, and I don't have a number for the connector road.
So what's the 130, 132 numbers?
Those are two different proposals from two different consultants, and there's some variables in there, so those are not solid numbers at this point because I've got to fill in the blanks over to the yellow line is from one consultant and the blue line is from another consultant, but there's some numbers missing over on the right side of one of them. So
okay.
Different scope of work though. So the pink is what we're going to take to council.
Pink is strictly the surveys and boundaries for each one of those three projects.
Are those other costs future costs?
Well, the engineering would be the yellow and the blues. So that one of those, it'd be one of those numbers or somewhere in that vicinity. So yes.
Yes.
And then the topo or part B for the fire station, you have to do a hydraulic study. So it'd be one of those numbers would be included. Yes.
So fire station costs are or not included in this?
It's part B.
It's part B.
Yeah. 7,000.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And then C is the east side.
Yeah.
Same goes for that, surveying and engineering. And so trying to work through some costs to give you some numbers on what those would really run and actual proposed contracts to do so.
Okay.
We're trying to get to the point, is this even feasible for next year's budget or the next year's budget, or, what are we looking at?
When you say, is it even feasible? The surveying or the construction?
The construction. So
Okay.
we've got to look at the
Yeah.
road tax and where we're at and
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
where we,
Knowing that we still need all the other streets that need attention.
correct.
Yeah.
So-
And stormwater.
You
systems.
briefly touched on getting truck traffic off of Cleveland. Is that going to be, was it connected to H on Cleveland, or is it going to connect to H via this up 1090?
It'd be this road that connect H to 37. Get them across the highway, from one highway to the other.
Is
On
this,
the north side of town.
is this going to be also, is this required to even go to public hearings for any of this?
Not if we use our own monies. I mean, it's being discussed openly in council meetings, so.
Yeah, I know.
Any chance of a cost share?
Yeah, well, there's always a cost or a chance. We just have to, if
That
we
would
want to
be-
go ahead and submit it to MoDOT, once we have numbers, we're gonna have to work out the details with them on here's what we're proposing. And then they'll review anyway because they're associated with both highways, so. But yeah, there's always a chance of submitting it and see what they say. And it could be, I don't remember how much funds we have in our STP, but, because we haven't used that for a while.
STP is,
Service Transportation Program, which we should have a balance, but we haven't used that since we did 13th in Cleveland, I believe. That's been probably 25
all right,
years
so that's
ago.
separate from Chapel Road Overpass?
Yes,
And what we're doing on Central, that's a separate.
yes. And there's also, I don't know if the governor's got any cost share programs, but this has been an ideal governor's cost share program if that program is still available. So,
But we can't go for a cost share until we do this, correct?
well, we have to have a certain amount of preliminary engineering to get so that they know what are we looking at. We've got this conceptual idea of connecting the two, but it's pretty conceptual at this point. So we're working out the details through the preliminary engineering phase. So we just get the surveys out of the way because you got to have that regardless, no matter what you do.
Mickey, if you don't mind taking a follow-up to when you're researching the STP fund balances, is what feeds that? Where does that revenue come from?
State bids.
Good question.
But we get so much allocation a year, but I don't know what we
That's what I'm looking for, yeah.
We haven't used it for so long.
Yeah, because if we know what the balance is and we know what revenue is going to come in, or what
Yes.
recurring revenue
Yeah.
would be coming in, then that'll help us forecast that out, right? And one thing I always say I should know, but I don't, is when we collect our fuel taxes, what bucket does that go into? If that,
Yeah, it's road improvements, but I don't know.
yeah, and if that goes into our capital fund, or if that just goes into the streets.
It's a street.
Okay.
Because the STP project we've used, I think, at least 2 or 3 projects over the last 30 years that I can recall.
Okay.
And you used to be able to go in the whole 5 years, so you could capture that money ahead, and so you could use it for a bigger project.
Right.
And you get a yearly allocation. I don't recall what that amount
Sure.
is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless Dave remembers.
Well,
It's
sorry.
been so long.
Hope to there.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But that's another resource of funding, so, but no matter which type of funding source you want to shoot for, there's still they're going to ask, what's this project going to consist of?
And if those funds are stipulated for specific use, like could we use those funds to do this engineering, so we're not using general,
Yes.
which would be nice to know.
Any
Cool.
questions you want me to research for the next meeting about this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Kent's right, it boils down to the cost. And so if we could get a little bit more better idea of what the cost is going to be. And of course, out there, the looming thing is question of construction, land acquisition, and all that.
Right, it's all part of it.
We'll have that ready before it goes to council.
Because I love the idea of which it had been done decades ago. I love the additional entrances to North Park.
Yeah.
So
I don't see a downside to it, other
Other
than
than
the
the
cost.
cost, exactly.
Other than
Yeah,
the cost,
that's
I don't
exactly
see a
right.
downside to it.
And like I said, these are all preliminaries, Murray, preliminary numbers.
I can't read numbers in that distance anyway.
Well, I guess I do have one question. So the proposed road over on the North Point, that jog,
North Hills?
North Hill, sorry.
Yeah.
This one here,
Mhm.
would that be our expense or would that be the developer's
I think it
expense?
would be our expense.
Okay.
Yeah, the city's expense. Okay. Yeah. But I think Jake is willing to assist in whatever he can to,
Okay.
he's open to the idea because it helps his development, it helps the overall city infrastructure too, so.
Thank
And
you.
I'd also be interested in a cost share with Monett Rural. Okay.
Yep, so they've offered to help us on the other end, and I think, usually the caveat when you help, a road district helps the city, then the city takes over the maintenance of the full street, so. So, yeah, they've been more than happy to be able to help the intersection at 1092.
Yeah, this will probably cause Dave to shave off his mustache, but
Only if you do it for me, huh?
I've done that before. It's not pretty. I was on a submarine though, so. I mean, I think we need to move forward with
Me
what we
too.
talked about today. Any objections from
No.
commissioners?
Just looking at the plan, preliminary plans that they come forward. Absolutely.
All right, so let's get the data, the financial data that Kim was talking about, and let's tee it up for the 13 November.
Because of the preliminary nature, do you want this back?
It's public, I mean, it's in the packet.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah, I
packet,
didn't
so.
see it.
Public.
And it's,
This
like I say,
additional.
the ball
Both are in
fields,
that thing.
the one that, go to that other, yeah, that one there, this is all preliminary. It is kind of sensitive to property owners because, the main thing was discussed was the road itself, so, the other ball fields have been discussed with the property owner, but these are all very draft information.
Pencil.
Which, yes. Ball field, soccer field, that's from Larry and I discussing what we have available, what's there. But there again, this idea of additional park space has been discussed with Danny going back at least 4 years when Chris was in here, goes back before that. We've got a pressure sewer that comes from the North Park building down on the east side of the ball field, which we have easements. So that property owner has been very, very open to the city and knows that we have those needs over there that will be.
Is there any requirement for zoning changes?
This property right here is outside the city limits, so there would be the annexation and applicable zoning for this area. We're not going, some of the property going back to the east would require probably some zoning changes when the time comes for that.
Okay.
So, but it also opens up some more land to the north that's outside the city that's for more future development, so.
Sure does.
Plus the land on the northeast corner of H Highway, it opens that up so it opens up some more expandable area. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you very much.
Do I need anything on this?
I'm gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, you could,
Okay.
you gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
That was exactly when I leave.
Yeah.
80 years, huh?
Okay, the next item, replacement roof on the Freedom silo.
Yeah, in your packet is a proposal for putting the roof on. This needs to go to Monett Main Street this coming Tuesday night for their approval and looking at it. But today I just wanted to tell you why there's only this single proposal. This is a very specialized roof that's going on the silo. The material and the design of the roof have been donated. I can't remember Arlen's company. That,
Steel Tech.
Steel Tech. So it's all been produced. It's laying on the ground now. It just needs to be lifted up and put in place. It is metal. The new roof is going to be all metal, so it'll last for a long, long time. But the construction of it, the assembly of it, takes a specialized welder. And so that's why this Lindell, which is Arlen's brother, has given us a proposal because he does elevated welding. The minimum site access is 75 feet in the air. So this is going to be a process when we get ready to assemble the roof, put it in place. Fire department's going to have to soak the interior of the silo because it's wood inside. This gentleman wants to make sure that it's saturated with water because obviously he's going to be welding on the top of this roof or up in the air. So that's really a proposal that still needs to go to Monett Main Street. The other proposal that you have in here is the crane company.
Okay, for what's the bottom, what's the financial?
$58,690.
And that's in addition to the 16,000?
That is correct. So this is the crane, and it's going to take 2 cranes to lift the assembly and put it in place. And I think he's got the hours he figured on there. Is it 6 hours, 48 for the rigger. So, but these are the 2 costs to assemble the roof on the silo. I'm not sure how long we've been working on replacing the roof.
Yeah,
Long time.
Okay.
So 5, 6 years?
I don't know exactly.
Has there already been a discussion of this at the main?
4 plus.
They've been discussing since 2019 off the top of my head.
There you go.
What's been the recent discussion at Main Street?
It just is repetitive conversation about who's going to do what, how much it's going to cost, and what they're liable for. What the Monett Main Street's liable for. The city's involvement has just been presented to us this trip. I know that the Steel Tech company were offering to do. I know some funding was taken care of by them. We'll just say it that way. But as far as this goes, this has been in the works for about a number of 5 to 6 years minimum, and they have yet to have a total presented to them in front of them.
Well, the executive committee of Monett Main Street, they've seen this.
Okay.
Because they got it the same day we got it. So.
Just last week then, right?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Because their executive meeting was this week.
And they discussed it.
Okay.
One of the members called me, told me that they had discussed it in
Good.
executive session. So, but the full board meets Tuesday night.
So does this mean this becomes a city expense or?
I'm not
I think there's
signing
some
off on
cost. I think there's some cost share that we need to do for just take taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Total is.
And let me back up. I don't know if there's been an agreement between Monett Main Street and the city. I've not seen any documented agreement that talks about the roof assembly. My understanding was that was a Monett Main Street expense.
That is true.
So
Yeah, because who owns the structure?
the city.
The city owns the structure.
Yeah, so the engineering's done. So we're lifting these heavy beams and new roof up there. Is there enough stability on the lower parts so it doesn't fall over?
Good question.
I just
So
gotta ask that question.
I've asked that same question. Is the current structure going to be able to take the weight of what we're putting up there? Our city engineer assures me that it will.
The other thing I would like to see, and we don't have to have it right now, obviously we don't have it right now, what's it look like? How much does it add?
From what I'm understanding, it won't change the aesthetic of it. It's just changing the infrastructure of the support of the roof. Because right now it's wood.
Yeah, the design of the roof is going to match the design that was up there.
Yeah.
And there's a curvature to that roof that had to be engineered and that was all taken care of by volunteers. I've only seen the assembly on the ground, and it does have a curvature to it, but it'll sit up there like that. It'll mimic what was up there.
And it replaces the cupola at the top.
Yes.
What happens if we don't do it?
Yeah, eventually the
The
road,
roof will fall in.
eroding,
Yeah.
yeah.
Eventually, yep.
Yeah.
Is there an alternative, a
So-
different structure, a different material, another way to preserve the
There's,
internal?
I know there was dialogue, I attend the Monett Main Street board meetings, and there was discussion at one point in time about going a different direction, wood structure up there, but I don't know how detailed that's done.
Yeah, that's steel, that's like you were mentioning, it's a specialized design. That steel is already there and has been there for years. What department does this fall under in the city? If the structure is owned by the city, is that a park department?
I consider it parks. Just like the pavilion, just like even the food truck area, I consider as
Because this was
parks
not,
oversight.
this was not budgeted, I'm
No,
not remembering.
No.
it being
yeah,
so.
and we, like I said, nobody has signed this proposal yet, and
Uh-huh.
and I wanted council to hear this, and obviously it's going to go to their board, but I'm not going to sign that proposal.
So it's going to go to their board to discuss what portion that they're willing to,
What they want to do next.
and just put it on the table. The irony is that this city council voted to give Monett Main Street, in addition to the $25,000 annually, an additional up to $50,000. So,
And I will say the agreement that the city attorney drafted for that extra 50,000, that money is tied to grants.
it was
So
conditioned.
Yes,
Right.
they can't use those funds for this.
Right, which
Yep.
the point of me saying that is it gives me concern of
Yeah.
their ability to participate.
Yep.
So, okay.
All right, I think we have the information. Next is,
Yeah.
we'll turn it over to Main Street and
Okay.
see what kind of cost sharing we get.
And that
Yeah,
meeting is, yeah, that meeting is 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on
Tuesday night.
Tuesday, which would be Tuesday, what, the 28th?
Something like
Yeah.
that.
And I'm assuming it's gonna be at the city, Chamber of Commerce's, building.
That's the last I
Okay.
heard.
Fantastic.
Okay, anything else on this right now?
No.
Just wanted a couple of announcements. I think most of the people in this room know it, but we're looking at an economic alliance between Berry County and Lawrence County. Mickey attended a meeting yesterday at SimCog, and a guy named Jonas, how do you pronounce his last name?
Argus.
Argus.
Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah. But he will be down here to discuss how you do that. That'll be on the 30th at noon out of the casino. And I think we've got, 25 RSVPs. But we've invited the commissioners.
We're going to post it as a
And
public
it's
meeting.
posted there, but I think it's I still think we need to partner wherever we can for some of these, for some of the projects, transportation.
Good
But I
idea.
think we all need to get in sync because we're not going to agree on everything, but there are common goals that are just blaringly obviously. And if we can get all our goals all saying the same thing, we're not allies, it's an alliance working toward common goals. But we're going to kick off that effort on the 30th at the casino. Anything else?
Just the Chapter 353 information meetings today at noon and 6. Our city attorney that was overseeing that project was involved in an accident on Tuesday. She's fine,
okay?
she's okay, but she's not going to be able to make it today. So Mike and I have been presenting at other venues, so we're going to take the lead. And I talked with Lindsay, and I actually talked to Joe Lauber yesterday to get kind of a briefing. So I think we're good to go.
Fantastic.
I don't want to cancel them.
Okay. There's no need, we don't have anything in
No.
closed session?
No.
Okay, kind of.
Oh, we don't?
You know,
So closed, okay.
unless,
Oh, no, because early on you asked if there were changes to the agenda.
yeah, and I added it because I thought I would have some information that I don't. So.
Okay.
All right. I move we adjourn.
Well, second.
Okay,
Call the roll.
Mayor Burks?
Go Cubs.
Okay.
Aye.
Councilman Gaspar?
Aye.
Councilman Indovina?
Aye. We need name tags.
Yeah,
We need a city clerk.
That we really want